right, welcome back. We've been doing kind of like a series of talks with people who participated in the WEA's Visual Grammar Language of Filmmaking course. And as we've been mainly dealing with directors, we also have actors who are invited to join us on this course. So we have a very familiar face here with Midhat Khan, who has been with us from the beginning, acting in how many films?
I don't know, between 60 and 80 films.
60 and 80 films!
I have nothing to do on Mondays.
So, I mean, just as an actor, because you're a job an actor and stuff like that, how did that feel for you to be able to look back and have gone through, this many films to create a show reel or whatever?
Well, actually, it came in quite handy, like you said, for a show reel, because I decided to look at all the videos, and while I was looking through all the videos, I realized how many there was. And I could actually see the progression of my acting from the beginning to the end, because I go to acting classes once a week, and I use this like a spare training ground. And the helpful part of it is different directors have different styles, so I get used to acting from different directions as well. And then as I was looking through, I could see which directorial styles I respond to better, and then which ones are just simply where my talents are, the comedic talents, and where I need to improve, like the dramatic parts and stuff. And it came in quite handy.
So, I mean, because I know, on the course that you do outside of here, it's like there's a lot of improvisation. So here with this course, I mean, sometimes you're just thrown right into the thick of it. You walk through your door, somebody goes, Midhat, take your coat off and go and do this. But how is that for you to be able to exercise your ability to, just kind of think on your feet or play part differently or to not play it the same? Because I can agree that I think you're not like a one-trick pony, which I think is the benefit to you, is that just tell me from your opinion about how is it to just be able to just be thrown into so many different ideas?
It's really this impulsive kind of parts of myself that really grew, because I've never really done improv before. And the first film I did here was Chase said, all right, you come into this room and you leave the room.
Yeah.
And there's no script, and it goes, okay, you do this and you do this, and I have to just think on my feet like that. So I have to go with whatever impulse.
That was when you were the teacher, wasn't it? Yeah,
that was my
very
first improv.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And then as it was going past, especially, was it Saturday night?
Mm-hmm.
The one where me and
Sonny Holland?
Yes,
Yeah.
Me and Sonny found a dead body. Sonny killed a guy. I came in, and by that part, I was I knew what to do as soon as I come into the scene. Before, I was nervous coming in and out, but there, I knew what to do right off. And that was Nigel's film as well.
Yeah. Another Saturday night, Matt was a dead body. And so, since you said you recently looked at all of these films, can you kind of look at maybe what was their top 3 experiences differently and why they were good for you?
Well, I like actually it's mostly Nigel's.
Are you doing that because Nigel's here?
No, I actually like Nigel's ones because the Saturday night made me laugh so much. The plate request was really cool, and the horror one this morning when I was watching, I was like, wow, he really made that little square go on for miles.
So how was the experience? Because he describes it, right? So how was it for you, that experience, being in that crawl space?
Well, it was painful because the health and safety standards in that crawl space isn't the best. There's nails sticking out in places. However,
I told you not to go all the way in, but he crawled so far in, you just disappeared off the screen.
Fear of tetanus, my shirt could have gotten ripped.
However,
what was the question?
I don't remember that. I said how from your side of it as the actor, Nigel had described that of shooting in various different ways in that small crawl space. So I was just wondering, curious.
Nigel's very good with directions, and he knows what he's going to see in the camera. So when I first started working with Nigel, he didn't give that many directions. And I wasn't sure if he was getting all the footage, but once I started to see what he was making, I realized that he gives me the directions he needs me to take, and then he knows exactly where to position the camera to get the maximum effect out of that frame.
No, nice one. So, but then there were like other films that you were in. Like we maybe we could talk about like we had the homage series and we had the interpretation series. So being here throughout all of the different incarnations, including the time films that Nigel wasn't in, can you just say some of your favorites from that? Like, so pick like from the homage. You know, tell us what that was about and what was your favorite
I
one.
can't remember all the homage ones I did.
Right. Right. Okay. You just recently watched your film. Okay, I know the interpretation was the detective.
Oh yeah, the
Remember
staircase
film
ones. That
yeah.
ones I remember.
That was that. Well, that was my favorite. And are we gonna say that was Nigel again?
No, what
That
was
was
the one
Nigel.
the one I did on the stairs?
Yeah, the stairwell.
Okay. What was the one that I did there?
That was
one
that
you
was
did
the
for me.
Golden Detective.
Yeah.
And what'd you say? That was you?
You was in my one. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
when
that
you were
was
out
the-
there, that was
the-
it.
that
See,
one.
see, look at that, look at that. We get to
Shout
give
out.
we get to give Mark Howell a shout out.
No, that one I like, and I like the Golden Detective one. The
Yeah.
Golden Detective, especially with the lighting under my face, giving
Yeah.
it that chiaroscuro film noir
Yeah.
look. Quite like that.
But I like the Stairwell Detective again, Nigel, because I like the improvisation again. Tell us about that improvisation that happened that Nigel had to do.
Oh, well, he had some. Well, while we were working on the stairs, there's these guys that needed to go up to the third floor, and they had this huge bicycle,
Yeah.
and they just come in and out, and it wasn't part of the script, but it worked quite well for the comedic element.
Yeah, no, it did. I thought
Someone was
that
also using the toilet, which is really loud, but for some reason he didn't leave it in.
No,
I disagree with that point.
Yeah, I don't think we really heard it. But but then also too is that so you know there's always a good and there's a bad. So like, what do you think didn't work for you as an actor? Like, and it could be like the preparation, or it could be the film, or whatever.
Oh, I guess when the lighting isn't right, that always really edges me out. Where like if it's raining outside and we just can't get the right amount of light for that film, it just doesn't work well.
Or like I know you've been in several films where it's dark outside.
Yeah.
And we're up the dark persuasion, and it's like, look, dude, I know you can see me, but the camera can't.
That's one.
Yeah, well, I mean that's happened a couple of times. But I mean, as your experience, I mean, was there a bad experience that you had, or that like, oh, do I have to be in this film?
No, I just wouldn't turn up.
No, but you've already turned up and you say, hey, yeah, so now we need you to be in this thing, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think of one that I didn't like.
Well, it's good if you don't. If there is the one that you didn't like, but it's just kind of like, I mean.
No, I think it was just more missed opportunities when the lighting's not right, or the camera isn't recording it properly, or the sound's just completely off.
Yeah.
I think those are the only things, because in this class everyone's learning, so
Yeah.
like everyone's going to get better. So I've never had a feeling like this is terrible.
Yeah.
It's always like no, the sound, the lighting, or the quality of the camera, or maybe like, but all in all of them had like a beginning, middle, and end. I think the only one that I criticized would be the Matt one where we did up the stairs.
Say a little more up the stairs.
Where somebody was let's say,
Wasn't that Andrew? You mean where he had to find you and were you up on the second floor?
I was on the second floor and I was pretending that guy was dead.
Yeah, yes. Right, I remember it now. But what I was going to say is that damn, I had that thought in my head and everything. So as far as the experience is concerned, then you showing up and participating in the films and stuff. What could you say about the? Oh, that's what I was saying. Okay, let's go like this. So what I didn't really get to say throughout the courses, but I've kind of like come to think about now is these courses have a certain dogma feel to them. Like Lars von Trier's, doctrine of the Dogma 95, where, no artificial light, no added sounds, because, we're just in a cinema, but we're in a fantastic building where we have all these spaces, and we just have to improvise a lot. you know, and I give it up to the directors who are able to do that, and the actors who are able to just kind of like go with the flow and then just participate. So yeah, there are going to be times when the sound is in-camera sound and what we do, or there's no extra lighting and all that, you know, what we could do. But just like what you mentioned about Mark's Go the Detective, is that sometimes we're able to just move the light here and there and do all that kind of stuff. So that Dogma way of filmmaking, what do you think about that? If you looked at it in the overall capacity of how these films are made. Have you ever heard of Lars von Trier's Dogma 95?
No.
And did you do a film thesis?
Adaptation theory.
So, I now have something that he doesn't know about.
Finally.
Yeah. What I just said though. What do you
Okay.
think about that? So we don't have all the big fancy elements.
Yeah.
We're very dogmatic.
Oh, you mean
here.
going back to what you said like at the beginning of all the courses where you said guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah.
Like just using what you have around.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually helped me when I've made films as well, because by being in so many of them, I realized that how many different things can be a set. Like this one time, I just wanted to do like this little comedy shot where I found a bear in the woods. There's a cemetery by mine, and there's lots of trees around there. And all I know is I just need that one small bit and make sure the railings aren't in the scene, and I can just do like a two-shot and it's a two-shot back to a one-shot back to a two-shot, and it's done like a quick 30-second joke.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned a lot from your guerrilla style.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's still that way, but I mean, like, the Dogma is a really good way of looking at it, too. So, I mean, and finally, is that, like, as you already, you know, heard and said that, like, in Nigel's latest film, The Cinema of Doom, you know, for you, that's probably a big progression, would you say, because working with Nigel as a filmmaker, and, you know, you're happy with that film. But maybe let me ask you about, like, because we didn't talk about the time courses, and everything. What was your experience like in the time series that we did in the visual gamma visual gamma time?
I only remember making two films in that one. The one where it was the time machine there and the time machine up there.
Yes.
Did I make any more than that?
No, but that's still.
You did. You remember one of mine?
Yeah, but you were the.
Oh, the
that
dinosaur one.
You know the prehistoric.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was only in it for a second. That was all you.
Yeah, right, and stuff like that. But I mean, the reason why I'm asking you about it is because this is the horror course, and you mentioned that it's like the time course was very specific. You know, like where the other visual grammar courses were just kind of like, you know, the enter and exit, the homage, and the interpretation. But in just working on the time travel courses, what was your experience like with that? And then how did you, how did you experience it?
Well, the maths one I'll start with first was where we were all in the room and we took that was one of the few ones where we took so many different takes, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. It was a hell to edit.
Yeah,
and it was given to me.
And then we had like a bowl there with like Christmas lights in it, and I wasn't sure it was going to work.
Yeah.
But most of it worked, and I quite liked it because I went up there and I was reacting to time travel and the special effects. So there hasn't been many in this with the special effects.
No.
So I like the finished piece personally. I mean, just like the first 30 seconds and then cut it down and it worked quite well. And then I did that one, which completely confused me because that was your film and I didn't know what you were doing.
What, the time machine?
Yeah, because you had the record player there
Yeah.
and there, and I wore a hat and wore glasses and there was lights. I wasn't sure what was going on. But once I saw the finished piece, I see what you were going for.
Yeah, well,
That was one of my most difficult ones.
That tends to happen when a director kind of is improvising and, it's all going to come together in the edit, trust me, right? And you're like, well, I don't know if I can trust you because you're not telling me what to do or anything, right? And everything, would you say it was like that? It was like, hey, just dress up and do this.
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay.
Nothing about everything put together. I could visualize what you were visualizing in your crazy head.
See, some directors have crazy heads. So anyway, where you go from here is that you mentioned about a show reel and all that other kind of stuff. I mean, would you be looking at because like you just said, from my perspective, as a job and actor, you're looking for work and everything, but do you find that you get typecast for roles to go for?
Yeah, usually I get typecast as nerd or geek, never like a role where I can have a lot of speaking parts, which is the other thing I like about this course.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of major speaking parts, which gives me a lot of experience and education. Really.
So, in putting together a show reel, at least then you're able to say to people, look, I can do more than what you think I can do.
Yeah.
And this is what I've done.
Yeah, I could show them variety as well, the comedy, the drama, and my face being like the main part of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so, but I would just like to say, I want to thank you very much for participating in this course. We've had several actors come through this course over the 2 years, but you're the one who has been here the most consistent. As you say, you made like about 60 to, how many films? I can't even believe we made that many, but yeah. We have that many students and done that many films, so I want to thank you very much for that. And it's been a good experience.
Thank you for me.
Well, thank you very much there, Mr. Midhat Khan. We'll be back here with more directors from the Visual Grammar course, Language of Filmmaking, and thank you very much.